you new to Ladoga Archipelago and you're really excited to start fishing this map, but then you opened your map up and took one good look at it, and now you're rethinking yourself, what did I get myself into? Well, don't you worry. Today, I'm going to make sure I share everything that I know with you guys and gals to make sure you have a successful time fishing Archie. Before we continue, I just want to let you guys and gals know this is all of my opinions, okay? This map is so big, and there's going to be so many people that's going to have their own opinion, all right? There is going to be active spots that other people are going to be like, oh, you should have shared this spot. Oh, you missed this spot. Oh, you missed this spot. Well, I'm showing you all the active spots that I personally know of, all right? There's no way I'm going to be able to cover every single spot. All right, it's just not possible. Okay, everyone's going to have their own spots that are active. All right, let's get into it. First, I'm going to pull up the map here. This map right here is what I found active in the past 3 months. All right, and I also got a lot of this information off my Discord community. All right, so first you're going to see is the red. Red is the active trolling routes as of right now. Okay, the blue is the active wacky spots right now. The yellow there you see is an active eel spot. Okay, eel spots are kind of rare in Archie, but my community found one. Yeah, so the yellow is the eel spot if you want to try it out. But yeah, there's the map for you right there. That's going to make your life a million times easier. So go try out all of those trolling routes, which is red. Blue, again, is wacky rig spots, and yellow is eel. Okay? So, whichever stretch you decide on could be this one right here. It could be this trolling route. It could be this trolling route. This one up here. It's all up to you on what you want to start out with first. All right? So, you choose what works for you. Whatever you want to try first, it's all up to you. Okay? So, now that you know the active spots, I'm going to show you what wobblers to use and what wobblers are best at Archie. So the first thing I can say is make sure you look at the records, all right? Go to weekly. And I know RF4 doesn't have weekly on the maps. Like you can't just check the weekly records for a specific map. I wish they did, but unfortunately you can't. So you're going to have to go to weekly and just look. So you're going to have to look for Ladoga Archipelago, all right? It makes this a little more challenging, but it's the best that we got. So we got Ladoga Archipelago. So it looks like the Balsa Crank ADF-01 is really popular. The Balsa Crank ADF-01 has been popular for the last 5 months or 4 months. So right now, if I were you, I would craft a bunch of Balsa Cranks and try them out. So right now, the Balsa Crank ADF-01 is really good and really hot right now at Archie. Okay, so you can go through the list if you want on the weeklies. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show an example. So as you can see here, it's the Balsa Crank ADF-01. If you want another way of knowing what's hot is you can go on R4 stats. Okay, just type in R4 stats or Russian Fishing 4 stats, and it'll be the first link right there. You'll know when you click it. That page will also show what's active for that week. Another site that's really helpful is r4.info. That's another really helpful site too. But okay, so looks like the Balsa Crank ADF-01, that's killing it right now on Archie. So if you want to go ahead and use those, you can. Another hot wobblers that's not really on the weeklies right now is the Balsa minnows. I believe if you go to lures, the Balsa minnow 140. 3 and the 2, and then also the 110 white and blue are usually good at Archie. All right, you might have to wait until they come back in rotation again because they will at one point, but those are usually active Archie as well. It's going to be kind of difficult because you can't craft, and if you can't craft, well, don't worry, I'm going to show you some other options that you can do without crafting. I personally got a trophy pike off this last week. Was it last week? No, it might have been 2 weeks ago. It was sometime. It is this one right here. So it is 36.67 silver, but right now the Hijacker Slim is really hot at Archipelago. So this is something that you don't have to craft. You can just buy it with the silver, and it will work probably, maybe not as good, but it will work pretty close to the same as the balsa cranks. All right. So there's a Hijacker Slim for you right there. Just keep an eye on the weeklies. Because the lures and the wobblers, I'm not going to say lures because you only use wobblers here, but the wobblers will change basically every once in a while. So make sure you keep up with that, because you don't want to keep using the balsa crank ADF one and don't check the weeklies ever and just keep assuming that lure or wobbler is going to be hot. You can't do that. You got to keep consistently looking at the weeklies. Look at VK, look at R4 trophy page. Just keep an eye on everything to make sure that your wobbler is active right now. Because if you use a wobbler that is not active, it can be a living hell. So you want to make sure you're using an active wobbler. Okay, so Hijacker Slim 7SP08 is killing it right now. I would just stick with these guys. But again, if you really want to experiment, I mean, you can. I'm not going to tell you no. If you have all the time in the world and you want to experiment, you can easily go to wobblers. See right here. This one says, which is attractive for predatory fish. So now you got to find out what a predatory fish is, which is not hard. So like pike are a predator fish. I'm pretty sure an Atlantic salmon's a predator. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. You know, like fish like that. They're okay. I've tested out lures before because I know people came up to me and said you cannot use spoons at Archie. I was like, don't tell me what to do. And I went ahead and tried to do my own experimentation with spoons. And good Lord, 3 hours went by, not one bite. And I didn't do it again. So yeah, I wouldn't use spoons at all. I wouldn't use spinners, just use wobblers. Okay. So now, oh, actually, you know what? Depth matters. If you're wondering about depth, because a lot of wobblers have different depths at 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. Different depths, the wobblers can attract different species of fish. Like some fish prefer deeper, some fish prefer shallower. So yeah, it all matters on that. But again, just look on the hotspot, look at weeklies, and just copy off there. Copy. Okay? Doing your own experimentation is good. It's just gonna be a living hell for you on this map. Okay, so copy. So I'm gonna show you what leaders to use at Archie. Okay, so the leaders you're gonna want to use is 35 kilogram 60 centimeter fluorocarbon leaders, or well, that's what I use, but most people use a 55 kilogram 60 centimeter leaders. The reason why we use such big and heavy leaders at Archie is because this map is filled with massive pike that would eat Cory pike up for breakfast. Okay, so if you even got one of those on, which is a high chance you will, it'll snap your leader right off if you don't use like 35 kilograms minimum. I hauled in a trophy pike on this map a couple weeks ago. It's 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was somewhere around that. But I used 35 kilograms and I hauled it in no problem. I think for blue tag pike, you may need a 55 kilogram leader. I've never caught a blue tag pike, so I don't know if that could snap through a 35 kilograms. But if you want to be on the safe side, go ahead, like everybody else does, use a 55 kilogram leader, then you're automatically on the safe side. All right. But yeah, 35 or 55, it's all up to you. So that's the leaders. So this is the grocery store right here. There's the workshop. There's the cafe up there. There's not too many buildings on this map. There's an administration shop, tackle store, and the campsite is over here. Personally, I don't think I've ever been to the campsite at Archie. So this is the fish market, and this is the boat station. All right, the tickets here are a little bit pricey. I mean, when Archie is not really active, it's a 50-50 chance if you're gonna make your money back or not on a boat ticket. Because a lot of times Archie could be dead. You know what I mean? Well, I shouldn't say dead. It depends what lure wobblers you use, but it may not be as active as other days. So if you go on one of those inactive days, it's going to be a 50-50 shot if you make your money back. So here's the boat rental. So again, it's like the sea almost. So 5 days, $3.99, or it may be the same price as the sea actually. 3-day boat ticket, $249. Yeah, $179.99. So it is a little bit pricey. Okay. But I would honestly use this boat right here because the red boat just is not fast enough for trolling, in my opinion. I've tried it. I just did not like it. So if you're trolling, I would take this bad boy right here. If you're a cheapskate like me, and try to save all the silver you can, and you're wacky rigging, well, then you can go ahead and take the red boat, because for wacky rigging, it doesn't really matter at all. But if you're one get out there faster and all of that, then use this boat right here, and also for trolling because it has the right speed. The red boat, I just don't find it is fast enough, in my opinion. I don't know. I just have a thing with red boat. I don't know why, but always use this boat right here unless you're wacky rigging and you want to save some silver and go with the red boat. But yeah, make sure to at least buy a 3-day Archie ticket, and make sure to buy a 1-day Archie ticket on top of your 3 days, unless you have all the time in the world and you want to spend 5 days here, then buy a 5-day boat ticket by all means. But I think the main rule here is make sure, that sounds bright actually, wow, I can't believe it's actually hurting my eyes to the screen. You got to make sure to at least have a 1-hour ticket, an extra ticket, always. So if you buy a 3-day boat ticket, buy also a 1-day ticket. If you buy a 5-day ticket, always buy a 1-day ticket. The reason why is because if you get a massive fish on right before your boat rental expires, I've done it many times, and it is the most irritating thing on this planet. Okay? You're going to lose the fish. You're going to run out of time. So the 1-hour boat ticket is basically an emergency. Break glass in case of an emergency. All right? So if you have a big fish on at the end of your boat ticket and you don't want to lose it, you can activate the 1 hour and you save that fish. I fought a sturgeon. I think it was a sturgeon. It had to have been. I fought a sturgeon for about 3 hours on Archie about a year ago. And it was literally at the boat. I was yanking it in, bending my rod to bring it into the boat, and my boat rental expired. That would have been my biggest fish to date. 3-hour fight. And because I did not bring an extra boat ticket, I lost it. 3-hour fight for nothing. It was right there touching the boat too. I didn't play for a week after that because I was so mad. I literally lost interest. So make sure you buy an emergency ticket. You will thank me later for that. You will save yourself a bunch of trouble. So that's basically everything you need to know. If you want to know how to wacky rig at Archie, I'll put the info up right now on the top right hand of the screen. If you go ahead and click that, that will bring you to how to wacky rig at Archipelago. Sorry, how to wacky rig at Ladoga Archipelago. It's a really good guide I put on that, so that'll help you with wacky rigging. I can't speak today. That'll help you with wacky rigging if you want to get started with that too, because wacky rigging is really fun on Archie. So that's basically everything personally that I know of that you need to know. There's going to be some other people that are going to be like, oh, you did mention this, you didn't mention that. Well, how dare you didn't mention this? Well, I'm just showing you personally what I used, all right, and what my community, what worked for them. So I'm going to talk about a setup for a second. What setup minimum to use at Archie? Okay, in my opinion, again, because I can get a lot of hate off this because people just have their own opinions and they don't agree with me. But for me, my personal reference is you want to make sure you only come here and troll Archie if you have the HSV minimum. Even using the HSV is pushing the limits. Because you get a 20 kilogram Atlantic salmon on, well, there goes about 45-minute fight, 30-minute fight on HSV. It's just, all the fish in here are big, pretty much really big. Unless you're wacky rigging, there's a lot of small fish. But if you're trolling, make sure to have an HSV minimum with a Model 1 rod. I mean, if you want to use the Super Duty, I'm pretty sure that would probably do. But I would recommend a Model 1 at least. The Model 1, I'll show you, because you're probably like, what Model 1? This Model 1 right here, the S98H, with a caliber HSV. Here we go. So, a caliber HSV right here. This is the reel you want with that. Minimum. Again, a Super Duty with the HSV will be the absolute minimum for Archie. If you want to come here and use a Saber 60 with, say, like a linear rod, well, I'm warning you, don't do that. But if you want to try it anyway, be my guest, but you might not be a happy camper at the end of it. If you try to put on a huge, massive leader on a tiny setup like that, you just can't do it. You can't. It won't work. It's just, yeah, it will cause mayhem. So the reason why I say HSV minimum and Super Duty or Model 1 is because they have the kilograms to handle the 35 kilogram leaders and the 55 kilogram leaders as well. So that's also what has to do with it as well. Pretty much everything that I know of Archie. If I missed anything, you know, let me know down in the comment section below and try to help other people out if I did miss something. But I'm pretty sure I covered all the basics at least. I know there's a lot more to talk about in this game. Not game, but this map. But I'm just showing you the basics. All right. So if you enjoyed this guide, please remember to smash the thumbs up button, hit the bloody hell out of that subscribe button, and make sure, if you're not a member already, make sure to do so. Members get a lot of good perks. If you join my Discord, you can get a VIP role. You get monthly premium items from me. You get shout outs. It's a good time. And bronze is minimum, which is $2.99. So if you want to help me out, help the community, help the channel, I'd recommend it. I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you very much. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all on the very next episode of Russian Fishing 4. Take care.